The fighting type is undeniably one of the coolest in Pokemon, and with the release of Legends EA, the fighting type received a bunch of awesome new Mega evolutions. But are these new Megas actually good? To find out, I decided to test this by trying to beat all of Pokémon Legends EA using only fighting type Pokemon. With the addition of these extra rules to make my life even harder, could our fighting types punch their way through Lumiose City, or would we be slapped into the dirt? Well, let's find out. After a long train ride from Paldea, Mr. Fister arrives in Lumiose City. Sir, you smell like a mix of raw meat, protein, and death. Are you okay? I'm here to find the strong, new fighting types. Where are they? Although, during this distraction, we're robbed by Pancham, who we then chase through Lumiose City until we find the criminal culprits. While Mr. Fister could probably just handle this situation peacefully with the use of his iron fists, ultimately though, we're forced to handle this with the power of Pokemon. In reality, our only real choice here is Tepig. While it may not be a fighting type Pokemon yet, it will be once it evolves. So, still without a single fighting type to my name, Tawny eventually brings us back to Hotel Z, where we're given a nice room to stay in. By the way, Mr. Fister, this room has a shower, so you should maybe consider using it. Please. We're not able to obtain our first fighting type until after this game's long tutorial. But during this time, we come across our true rival in this game, Ivor, the fighting type specialist who is one of the toughest opponents in the game. I'm Ivor, a member of the Fist of Justice, and I'm Mr. Fister, licker of rocks. Seriously? A weak, pathetic man like you could never wield the power of fighting types. Oh, I may be smelly, but I'll make you pay for calling me weak. After that disrespect from Ivor, I knew it was time to lock in and finally get some actual fighting type Pokemon. Thankfully, once the tutorial is all out of the way, the map really opens up and we're able to obtain a few fighting type Pokemon right away. The first of those is Pancham. Despite having tried to steal my bag earlier, this little panda lives in Wild Zone 3 and is our first available fighting type in the game. After that, our next fighting type comes from a nearby mandatory in-game quest where we have to trade away a random Pikachu, and in return, we receive Heracross, a truly honorable fighting type that is actually really strong to have this early on. So now my team consists of a thief who tried to steal my bag, my adopted bug son, and a pig that will be turned into salami if it doesn't become a fighting type soon. Our whole team will probably die if we come within even 5 feet of a flying type, but at least our team was starting to come together. After doing some shopping to make sure Mr. Fister looks like a fighting type thug, we set our sights on obtaining the next rank. This doesn't take too long, as we only need 5 wins to claim our challenger's ticket and earn our next promotion match. Although at the current level cap of 16, our Tepig still isn't able to evolve, meaning that for this fight, Tepig will be stuck in the box and will only have Heracross and Pancham, putting us at a disadvantage in a 2v3. Regardless, Heracross is a beast, so I was feeling pretty confident as our first official fight got underway. Except, turns out, this fight is a nightmare. To beat Yvonne and reach rank X, not only do we have to get through 2 fairy types, but to make things even worse, she also has a powerful bug flying type in Vivillon. This team looks like it was built for the sole purpose of decimating fighting types. Heracross put in a valiant effort, gradually working its way through the first 2 fairy types with Pin Missile and Aerial Ace. But once Vivillon hits the field, our team just doesn't stand a chance. A quad-effective gust instantly blows Heracross into the trash, leaving us with only Pancham. Although our little panda has an awful matchup here, as it too quickly goes down. In our very first fight, Mr. Fister had become Mr. Fisty, and after attempting this fight again, only to end up with the exact same result, I knew that we needed to make some changes to our team if we wanted any chance here. At first, I was hoping to head over to Wild Zone 6 and catch a Meditite, although all the Meditite here are too high a level for us to use in this fight, so I had to go back to the drawing board, instead focusing on finding new TMs in the overworld as well as completing research tasks. After which, I changed up our moveset a little bit and equipped both of our fighters with a held citrus berry. With those improvements, I was hoping that would be enough and returned to Yvonne, ready to try and earn our revenge. This time, I lead with Pancham, whose goal is just to do as much damage as possible. Although, our punching panda still can't get the KO, quickly falling to Fairy Wind. As a result, now it was all down to Heracross in a 1 versus 3. Although, that quickly becomes 1v2, as after using Workup, an Aerial Ace finishes off the weakened Spritzy. After a headbutt and Aerial Ace onto the incoming Swirlix, I reset our attack boost with another Workup before a second headbutt secures the KO. Now we were down to a 1v1 against Vivillon. I instantly go for Aerial Ace, which hits the bug type hard. Expecting a Gust, I then use Detect, but use it too quickly. As a result, we then get hit by Gust, which does massive damage to Heracross. Thankfully, our Citrus Berry gives us a little bit of HP back, which allows us to survive the incoming Draining Kiss. After which, Heracross is able to land a second Aerial Ace, finishing off Vivillon just in time. With that, Heracross had clutched the 1v3, giving us our first proper win, as well as a promotion to Ranked X. After the fight, we head back to Hotel Z to celebrate our promotion with Tawny and the rest of Team MZ. Despite that early game hurdle, our team was about to get some major upgrades. With our updated level cap, now we can return to Wild Zone 6 and catch one of those Metatite from earlier on. On top of that, once Tepig reaches level 17, it finally gets to evolve into Pignite, a chunky pig who, more importantly, now gains the all-important fighting type. So our team size had now doubled, and this makes our next promotion match a lot easier than the last one. Pignite makes its debut, crushing the lead Venipede with Flame Wheel and Rollout. From there, our hard carry Heracross gets to work, gradually clearing through the next 3 Pokemon, giving us the win with 0 casualties for a dominant promotion to rank W. That night, once again, Team MZ gathers to celebrate another promotion. Sorry, Tawny, I don't think I can eat this curry croissant thing. Why? Does it not have enough protein for you? No, it just looks absolutely awful. Go and lick a rock or something then. Gladly. With our team now looking stronger than ever, our momentum was set to continue, as it doesn't take long for us to earn our next promotion match against Rintaro for rank W. This time, our promotion fight is against the 3 evolved elemental monkeys. Under the rules of this challenge, I can only bring an equal number of Pokemon as my opponent. As a result, since this fight is a 3-on-3, I decided to leave Pancham on the bench so our cute panda mascot can watch on from the sidelines. And thankfully, Pancham's services were not required in this battle. Against Rintaro's lead Simisage, Pignite is able to take care of business with Flame Wheels and Rollouts. Then, against the Simipour that follows, Heracross continues being a beast, overpowering Simipour with Aerial Ace and Pin Missile. This leaves Rintaro with only Simisear, who is the most threatening Pokemon on his team. But it's still a 3v1, and eventually, Metatite is able to clean up the fight on its debut, earning us yet another quick promotion to rank V. Once we step outside the restaurant, we receive a panicked call from Emma.
Mr. Fister, the Pokemon I'm chasing is in your vicinity. I need you to chase it down for me.
Oh, is it a fighting type?
No.
Can I eat it?
No!
Not interested then. Bye. Ultimately, we do have to chase down Zygarde across the city, and this kicks off our introduction to Rogue Mega Evolution. This results in us finally getting our hands on a Mega Bracelet, as well as getting to take AZ's Lucario for a test drive. It doesn't take too long for us to take down the Rogue Absol, with Mr. Fister ultimately saving the day. So, ever since beating Yvonne, our fighting types had been on a tear, and we had gained some serious momentum. However, now that the early game is officially behind us, this is the point where Legend ZA starts to really spike in difficulty, as the fights are only going to get harder from here. This is because the next day, Tawny and I meet up with Vinny at Quasartico, and you just know that this man is a killer. I mean, he's literally wearing the head of a Pancham that he probably slayed. You stay away from my Pancham, you disgusting freak. Vinny goes on to explain that he wants Mr. Fister's help in dealing with the Rogue Megas, but before he can trust us, he needs to see our abilities firsthand. So we have to fight Vinny. If we can win though, we'll be promoted all the way to rank F. However, Vinny's team is deadly, featuring heavy hitters like Houndoom, as well as an insanely powerful Mega Dramper. This should be a much bigger challenge than any of our other promotion matches so far. But given that Vinny's team has a strong weakness to fighting, and the fact that our team had been on a roll lately, I felt pretty confident about our chances here. So after obtaining our challenges ticket, I prepared my team before stepping up to take on our toughest opponent yet, Vinny. The Pancham Slayer leads with Houndoom, which our Pig Knight has an amazing matchup against. After a quick power-up punch, a super effective rollout is all we need to claim the first KO. Vinny then follows up with Sharpedo, so I get my Fire Pig out of there immediately, sending in Heracross. After tanking an Aqua Jet and a Slash, our Bug-type beast goes huge, as a super effective Brick Break takes out the Shark in just one hit. This is then followed by Baniri, who obviously stands no chance whatsoever. After a Brick Break chops Baniri in two, this leaves Vinny with only his final Pokemon, Dramper. And while it is a very powerful Pokemon after it Megas, it also happens to be weak to fighting. With Brick Break and Rock Smash, Heracross is able to dish out big damage, getting Dramper low by the time our ace falls. However, at this range, Pancham is able to teach Vinny a lesson as one last super effective Brick Break finishes off the fight. With that, Pancham had heroically slayed the dragon, earning us a big promotion all the way to rank F. Having beaten Vinny on the first try, I started to wonder if anyone would be able to stop Mr. Fister. Although, there are some terrible matchups coming up for us in the near future. For now though, we're asked by Vinny to assist Quasartigo with handling Rogue Megas across Lumiose City. The first round of Rogues will see us take on Slowbro, Camerupt, and Victory Bell. But to help take these down, we need some Megas of our own. Thankfully, AZ comes to our rescue, handing us the Emborite. Wow, this is one tasty looking rock, AZ. You shouldn't have. Look, I can't stress this enough. Do not eat that rock. I can't make any promises. Besides that Emborite, we're also able to buy the Mega Stone for Heracross from the Quasartigo building, along with the one for Metacham from the Stone Emporium. And thankfully, we're able to make use of these new Mega Stones right away, as at the current level cap, our Metatite can evolve into Metacham, which is then followed by Pig Knight, who reaches its final form, Embor. It's now stronger, fatter, and more piggier than ever. So, with Mr. Fister's upgraded team looking solid, now it was time to unleash the power of our fighting type Megas against some rogue Pokemon. Against Victory Bell, the all-new Mega Embor is able to make a big debut, quickly burning through the oversized plant with its fire moves. Then, against the rogue Slowbro, our Mega Heracross goes insane, speedrunning this whole fight in about 2 minutes with super effective lunges and pin missiles. The final rogue of this round, Camerupt, is a bit tougher since we don't have any obvious type advantage. However, since this is only the first round of Rogue Megas, our team is still gradually able to wear it down before Mega Metacham ultimately finishes off the giant camel. So, with a third rogue taken care of, we return back to Hotel Z. But once we arrive, we're met by Zygarde. Foolishly, Zygarde challenges us to a fight, which means that Metacham gets to slap him around and show Zygarde just how strong we are with quite effective ice punches. After the fight though, Zygarde is clearly impressed by Mr. Fister's strength and decides to give us a gift. Could it be another delicious rock to taste? You know what, Zygarde? You're alright. After that strange encounter, we meet up with the rest of Team MZ inside the hotel. And it's during this that our next opponent is revealed to be Canary, the electric type streamer who we should have a neutral type matchup against. Before we can battle her, we have to take part in some sort of parasocial who wants to be a simpionaire type quiz. Before that though, I went exploring through the streets of Lumiose City and eventually I stumbled across the museum, which is a very interesting place. Oh, there's an exhibition on ancient Hisui. Hey, wait a minute, those are my clothes! That's what I was wearing after I got to Hisui. Oh, hey look, it's that coward Volo's clothes. I was told the person who wore this outfit donated it to the collection personally. Wait, he's still alive too? I can't wait to give that traitor a left-right goodnight. Maybe someday we'll get a rematch between Volo and Mr. Fister. But for now, we turn our attention back towards Canary and earning our next promotion. This involves taking part in the quiz alongside these neckbeards who are kinda built like my big pig Embor. I don't actually know the answer to any of these questions, I just copy the answer of the smelliest, most unshowered people in the crowd. Ultimately, after passing the quiz, as well as beating up Tarragon, we'd eventually earned the right to face Canary. Boasting 4 powerful electric types, I knew that this fight was not going to be easy. Regardless, I lined up with our 4 fighting types, ready to try and earn our next promotion. Although, this fight starts out terribly. Against Heliolisk, I try leading with Medicham, but our Psybeams and Confusions deal pretty awful damage. As a result, Heliolisk still has most of its health by the time we lose our first Pokemon. This puts us on the back foot, but thankfully, our mascot Pancham does quickly get the trade with a super effective Brick Break. This evens the fight to a 3-on-3, but the incoming Ampharos is a monster. Brick Breaks do barely any damage before Pancham's brain is completely fried by an incoming discharge. As Heracross hits the field next, this is the point where Canary and I begin trading hits, as Heracross can finish off the deadly Ampharos with a few Brick Breaks. But since our bug is severely damaged and paralyzed in the process, this allows Stunfisk to quickly get the revenge KO. As a result, this leaves us in a 1v2 down to only our fattest fighter, Embor. Immediately, I Mega Evolve our starter to try and finish off Stunfisk quickly, which we are able to do, but Embor takes a decent chunk of damage and gets paralyzed in the process. So this leaves our weakened pig in a 1v1 against Canary's ace, the Mega Electros. Embor hits a Flame Wheel for big damage, but Discharge also hits us hard. Canary then fires off 2 quick hits, leaving Embor on only 2 HP. Our starter is on the brink of death and paralyzed, but just clutches up, connecting with one final Flame Wheel, knocking out Electros and giving us an insanely close win. I can't believe we pulled that off, but with Canary defeated, Mr. Fister climbs further up the ranks, now sitting at rank E. So, Mr. Fister, what was Milady Canary like in person? She was pretty cool. Actually, she gave me her number. I hate you, Mr. Fister. While we may have won that fight, it was insanely close, and our team was starting to struggle. On top of that, our next fight coming up is against Ivor, our fighting type rival who has an insanely stacked roster. If Mr. Fister was going to become the strongest fighting type trainer in Lumiose City, we would absolutely need to first improve our team. Thankfully, we have a few fighting type options that are available. First, near the Quasartico building, behind the Pokeball store, we're able to find our next encounter, Scraggy. And this little guy is important for 2 reasons. First, after quickly catching it, at the current level cap, our Scraggy can evolve right away into Scrafty, giving it a significant power boost, but sadly still not giving it a belt to hold up its own pants. Regardless, now that we have a Dark-type Pokemon in our party, this allows us to finally evolve Pancham, giving us access to Pangoro. While it may not be our cute little mascot anymore, Pangoro is a much stronger panda than Pancham. Despite both of those being valuable upgrades to our dojo, unfortunately, both of those Pokemon are Dark-type, which really isn't going to help us in taking on Ivor. Thankfully though, there are 2 other fighting types that I know will be able to help. The first of these can be found on the rooftops of Lumiose City, Holucha, the most iconic Kalos fighting type, whose secondary flying type is also going to be incredibly useful. On top of that, Holucha just looks like a Pokemon who's ready to beat up some losers. After that, the hits keep on coming, as our next encounter is Ralts, specifically a male one, as once this evolves into Curlier, by using a Dawnstone that I was able to find lying around the city, our new Curlier could evolve right away into Gallade. While this Pokemon may spark my own PTSD from an unrelated video, it's still one of the coolest looking Pokemon ever. It being a part Psychic type is also incredibly helpful for some of our upcoming fights. So with all of these upgrades, Mr. Fister's team is now looking a lot stronger. Before we can begin hunting down Ivor, first we need to clear through another round of Rogue Megas. And this is important because this time we have to take on Mega Holucha. Obviously, this is our hardest rogue fight fight yet, with Holucha being a flying type that can rip through our team. Thankfully, Mega Medicham is an insane counter here, as Thunder Punch, Ice Punch, and Zen Headbutt dish out enormous damage to the masked fighter. And after eventually taking it down, we're rewarded with the Holucha Knight, meaning we now have another new fighting type Mega on the team. With that round of Rogue Megas now taken care of, we return to Hotel Z, and it's here that we receive a notification on our phone informing us of our next promotion match against Ivor, a fellow user of fighting types and our true rival in this game. Not only will the winner be elevated to rank D, they'll also be the strongest fighter in Lumiose City. So, without wasting any time, I marched right over to Ivor's dojo looking for a fight. Oh, look everyone, it's the puny, weak little fighting type trainer. How cute. I'm not weak, I'm so strong that I have to use Geodude to help train my biceps. Is that all? I can lift a golem with only one hand. Whatever. I'm so strong that I can squat with a Snorlax on my shoulders. Oh yeah? Well, I'm so strong that I can bench press yo mama. How dare you bring Mama Fister into this? You'll pay for that disrespect, Ivor. Before we can have our promotion fight, we're forced to work alongside Ivor to try and track down his missing sister. And during this, we get to see just how evil this guy really is, as he threatens to throw a Pokeball so hard that it might even knock the Pokemon out. Even Emma realizes just how twisted this lunatic is. Somebody put this man behind bars at once. After running around the sewers, eventually we find the missing sister, Gwyn. She forces us into a battle, and I guess we're going after Ivor's entire family tree now, because Pangoro absolutely demolishes her ghost types for the most brutal solo sweep of this entire challenge so far. Now that we're done with Ivor's sister, now it's time for Ivor himself to face the music. The leader of the Fist of Justice is packing 4 powerful fighting types. However, I've got 4 powerful fighting types of my own, making this a tense showdown to determine who would take the title of Lumiose City's fighting type champion. As we approached Ivor with our chosen 4 Pokemon, I wasn't just looking to win, I was looking to dominate. Ivor begins the fight with Heracross, so I send in Holucha, and given that Heracross is 4 times weak to flying, Holucha bounces up into the air before laying the smackdown onto Heracross for an instant KO. Ivor's Medicham hits the field next, and after Holucha hits a quick aerial ace, it launches into the sky for another bounce that slams Medicham into the dirt, giving us our second knockout. This is where Ivor's team starts to get serious, as his deadly Machamp is up next. So I switch into our Psychic type Medicham to try and handle it, but we just take so much damage from Brick Break and Brutal Swing, ultimately causing our Medicham to fall. Thankfully though, Heracross tanks a Bulldoze pretty well before a lunge and aerial ace combo are all we need to take down the 4-fisted fighter. This leaves Ivor with only his Mega Phalanx in a 3 versus 1. This Pokemon is very dangerous, but so is our Heracross. We trade hits back and forth, and while Heracross does eventually fall, it was able to get Phalanx to low health. From here, Gallade is clear to come in next, and with a Psycho Cut followed by an aerial ace, our new Gallade slices Phalanx in 2, giving us the win. With that, Ivor was forced to submit to the might of Mr. Fister, as we had become the strongest fighting type trainer in Lumiose City. To sweeten the deal, we're promoted to rank D, while Ivor is left to wallow in his pathetic weakness and overwhelming defeat. Our fighting types had become impressively strong, absolutely dominating through that fight, and our momentum was set to continue, at least for a little while longer, as the next section of the game has us confront the Rust Syndicate to try and pay off Tawny's debt. Although, unfortunately, working for the Rust Syndicate doesn't involve Mr. Fister getting to beat up civilians. Regardless, after completing a bunch of tasks that are well below my pay grade, we eventually get to face up against Corbeau in our next promotion match. Despite Poison being a bad matchup for the fighting type, this battle is actually pretty clean. Gallade is able to handle the lead Arbok with a Psycho Cut, and while the Gyarados that comes in next is incredibly dangerous, after Gallade falls, Medicham can quickly get the trade with a quite effective Thunder Punch. From here, Mega Emboar is able to clear through the rest of the fight with super effective Flame Wheels and Rollouts, quickly crushing through the final 2 Pokemon. With that, Corbeau had been dominated, and we had earned another promotion in quick succession, now reaching rank C. Our team had been on an absolute tear in the last few fights. However, this is where that comes to an end, because our next promotion match is against Jasin, the Fairy-type specialist who carries 5 powerful Pokemon. Fairy is one of the worst matchups possible for the fighting type, making this our toughest hurdle yet. As a result, to maximize our chances, before moving on to this next section of the game, I decided to first go and hunt down every remaining fighting type in Lumiose City. First, over in the newly unlocked Wild Zone 16, we're able to steal Ivor's ace, catching ourselves a Phalanx of our very own, giving us another heavy-hitting fighting type. After that, our next fighting type involves completing a side quest, whereby Mr. Fister has to beat up this poor, wild Chespin over and over. Eventually though, Chespin finally submits and joins our team. We can then evolve it right away into its final form, Chesnaught, a bulky grass fighting type that adds some nice variety to our roster. Following those 2 additions, there are still 2 more fighting types left for us to hunt down. The first is located in Wild Zone 12, where we find ourselves Machoke. By then taking our new fighting type and immediately trading it away, it comes back with twice the number of arms, evolving into Machamp, the OG fighting type icon whose 4 arms give it some real punching power. This leaves only 1 more fighting type for Mr. Fister to find, and I saved one of the best ones for last, Riolu. While it's not so powerful just yet, after taking our new Pokemon out on a few coffee dates, its friendship is maxed out, allowing Riolu to evolve into Lucario. Not only is this an incredibly powerful Pokemon, it's also a part Steel type, which makes Lucario a very important part of our team for taking on Jasin. On top of all these amazing Pokemon, we're also able to pick up some extra Mega Stones from the Quasartico building, including Mega Lucario, Mega Phalanx, and Mega Gallade. Obviously, these are some insanely strong Pokemon, and now we had a full team of Megas at our disposal. With that, we had now obtained every single fighting type available in the game, meaning that now all that was left for Mr. Fister to do was to try and conquer the rest of Lumiose City. So, next we set our sights on obtaining Rank B. This involves joining up with Tawny and meeting up at the Society of Battling Connoisseurs. It's also at this point that we come face to face with the Fairy-type demon, Jasin. Attention trainers, it has come to my attention that someone among you has a horrible stench. Whoever it is, please go and take a shower at once. Well, I mean, that could be anyone, right? Now, there are a lot of battles that we have to go through before we earn the right to face Jasin. This involves taking on another round of Rogue Megas, as well as a fight against LeBon of the SBC. But thanks to our fighting types now being fully upgraded, these battles don't pose too much of a threat to Mr. Fister. As such, eventually, we return to Hotel Richissime, where we're forced to take part in a battling tournament. This sees us rematch against a few of our toughest opponents, and these battles really serve to show just how powerful our roster of fighting types has become. For example, against Canary, our new Chesnaught gets to make its debut, handling the opposing Stunfisk. After that, Machamp is also able to debut, finishing off Ampharos with a super effective Bulldoze and Brick Break, before Ambor ultimately finishes the fight against Mega Electros. Then, in our rematch with Ivor, Mega Hawlucha just completely takes over, with Bounce and Brave Birds ripping through his Heracross, Metacham, and Machamp in quick succession for a triple kill. And after Phalanx is finished off by Gallade, once again, Ivor was left begging for mercy at the hands of Mr. Fister. After taking down both Corbeau, as well as the pitch invader Zygarde, we had finally reached the end of the tournament, where we get to face off against Jasin. While those last few fights were pretty straightforward, Jacinth is much more dangerous, boasting a team of 5 strong Pokemon, most of which are Fairy types, which completely hard counters the fighting type. As a result, I knew that this was going to be our hardest fight in a while. However, Mr. Fister always has a plan. I can't afford to let Jacinth build up any momentum, so I lead with our best offensive option here, Lucario. After a quick Swords Dance, I immediately Mega Evolve before a quad-effective Metal Claw instantly takes down Carbig. Mawile hits the field next, so I decide to preserve our all-important Lucario by switching out into Emboar. Play Rough hits our Punching Pig pretty hard, but a Flame Wheel followed by Flamethrower are all we need to completely melt Mawile. Against the incoming Gardevoir, Alpha, I tried to switch into Heracross, but accidentally threw my bug right into a Mystical Fire. From there, a Moonblast finishes it off, giving us our first KO of the fight. Regardless, Mega Lucario is then able to come back in, as a Metal Claw, followed by a Bullet Punch, is all it takes to finish off Gardevoir. Now we had a massive lead, which eventually turns into a 4v1 after Machamp ultimately takes down Aurorus with Bullet Punch. Jacin's Mega Clefairy is incredibly dangerous though, as its Moonblast decimates our Machamp before Lucario is also cut down by Mystical Fire. So, despite our early lead, now it was down to only a 2v1. But thankfully, our Punching Pig steps up to the plate as two super effective rollouts are thankfully enough to crush Clefable out of the sky. With that, we had defeated Jasin, overcoming one of the fighting type's biggest weaknesses, earning our next promotion to rank B. At this point, we're only one step away from rank A, and while there are only a few battles left in the entire game, two of these are even more dangerous than Jacinth or Ivor. So, to help us prepare as best as possible, I first went to go collect our last Megastone, as now, at the Quasartico store, we can finally buy the Megastone for Scrafty, who now has an all-new hoodie. With that, we'd now gotten every new fighting type Mega that's available in the game. So now it was time to finally see whether these new Megas could crush through the endgame of Pokémon Legends ZA. First, this starts with another round of Rogue Megas, during which our new Megas do a lot of the heavy lifting, as Mega Scrafty makes its debut against Tyranitar, dishing out big damage. After which, the Mega Phalanx that I stole from Ivor is ultimately able to finish the fight, taking down the Rogue Tyranitar. In a similar fashion, our team of Mega Fighters can gradually work their way through the final two Rogue Megas, collecting the last few required Megastones. After which, we then return to Hotel Z to regroup. I don't get it. These Rogue Megas just won't stop appearing. Ever since Mr. Fister turned up, it's been one after the other. Now that I think about it, the timing is pretty interesting. Guys, look. I know this looks bad when you put it like that, but trust me, I'm sure this will all blow over any day now. The interrogation of Mr. Fister is then put on pause as we receive a notification on our phone informing us of our next promotion match. This begins the long quest of tracking down Grisham, trying to find out the identity of our next opponent. During this time, we do have to fight against Emma and Grizel, but while these fights are pretty close, our fighting types are ultimately able to get the wins on our first attempt, as Heracross dominates Emma's Mega Malamar, and Phalanx overpowers Grizel's Mega Pyro. As a result, after Grisham's identity is finally revealed, and we explore Lysander's creepy basement, we're eventually able to begin our promotion match. But Grisham's team cannot be taken lightly. This is our first 6-on-6 fight, and his team is stacked with heavy hitters and pseudo legends. While half of his team is weak against fighting, it's really his Salamence and Mega Charizard X that are insanely deadly. I knew this fight wouldn't be an easy win. However, our fighting types had been so dominant up to this point, so I was still confident in our chances, and with 6 of our strongest Fisters assembled, we marched forwards towards Grisham, ready to earn our promotion to rank A. Just like our fight against Jacinth, we start this battle incredibly dominant. A quad-effective flying press from Hawlucha instantly wipes Pangoro off the map. This is followed by a quad-effective Mega Horn onto Malamar, allowing Heracross to pick up another KO, giving us a strong early lead. Grisham then sends out Pyroar, so I switch into Machamp. We take pretty big damage from Overheat and Hyper Voice, but Dynamic Punch, followed by a Brick Break, allows Machamp to take out Pyroar. So now Grisham was left with only 3 Pokemon, but these are by far his 3 strongest. Despite our early lead, this is where Grisham starts to fight back. An Aerial Ace from Salamence instantly KOs our weakened Machamp. So I send in Medicham next, who I brought specifically to deal with this dragon. After Mega Evolving, we hit Salamence with a massive Ice Punch, allowing us to then finish it off with a quick Dynamic Punch. So far, this fight had been going smoothly, but this is where my plan starts to fall apart. When Tyranitar hits the field next, I try switching into Lucario, but get hit by an Earthquake immediately, causing us to lose another Pokemon. Thankfully, Heracross is able to get the trade, as close combat takes down Tyranitar. As a result, the fight was now down to a 4 versus 1. And while we may look to be in a dominant spot, this Mega Charizard is an absolute demon. Grisham uses Protect to dodge my super effective Rock Blast, so I switch it to Howlucha to try and keep Heracross alive. I'm able to land a Flying Press, but it barely does any damage, while Air Slash puts me on the brink of death. After Howlucha then falls to a Flare Blitz, I send in Gallade with the goal of nerfing this deadly dragon. This somewhat works, as I'm able to land a Draining Kiss as well as paralyze it before Gallade is also burnt to a crisp by Flare Blitz. The fight had now descended from a 4v1 into a 2v1. And from here, things do not get better, as Machamp is quickly finished off by Flare Blitz, leaving us with only Heracross. However, as the Mega Evolution wears off, I know that we just need to land this one last Rock Blast, and Charizard protects. Grisham blocks the attack that would have given me the win, and with one final Flare Blitz, Heracross is decimated. Somehow, we had just lost a 4v1. This Charizard is so hard to deal with. Its Air Slash and Flare Blitz just deals so much damage to my team. For the first time in a long time, we had lost. And it wasn't just bad luck. On the next attempt, I tried changing my team around by subbing in Phalanx and adjusting our movesets, but the result was still the exact same. In fact, this time, Grisham's Charizard clutched up a 5v1. I was able to get it to the brink of death, but one by one, our team just continued being overpowered and outmaneuvered. Mr. Fister was being decimated and embarrassed by this Mega Charizard. I knew that there had to be a way for us to defeat this thing, so determined to find it, I began attempt number 3. The fight starts out mostly similar, with Howlucha quickly handling Pangoro. However, this time, since I put Heracross on the bench, I have Howlucha try to deal with Malamar as a lunge hits the squid for big damage. Eventually, Howlucha is able to finish it off with a bounce, but since we're at low health and asleep, Tyranitar quickly gets the trade. I was hoping that Lucario would be able to strike back, but Aura Sphere just isn't enough to KO, causing Lucario to fall as well. Grisham and I then begin trading hits, as Machamp is able to finish off Tyranitar, and while Metachan does deal solid damage with Ice Punch, it once again falls to Salamence. However, it's at this point that we unleash our new plan, Embor. Our starter instantly Mega Evolves, and while we take a big chunk of damage from Salamence, a close combat followed by Rollout is enough to take down the dragon. As Pyroar hits the field next, I switch into Phalanx, who is able to get it low with close combat, but just can't finish the job. This all leaves us in a 2v2, with Machamp and Embor taking on Pyroar and Charizard X. Thankfully, Machamp can quickly clean up Pyroar with a Brick Break, once again leaving Grisham with only his ace, Charizard, a Pokemon who just clutched up a 1v4 and a 1v5 against us. But Machamp was not going down easy, as a Brick Break and super effective Bulldoze hit Charizard hard, after which Machamp lays down a quick Dynamic Punch, followed by a Brick Break that finally crushes Mega Charizard. Somehow, the OG fighting type icon had soloed the all-crushing Charizard X, giving us a close win over Grisham, while also putting Mr. Fister on top, now reaching rank A. To celebrate our win, we return to Hotel Z to enjoy a meal with the rest of Team MZ. Well, now that I'm rank A, and we've taken care of all those rogue Megas, I'm sure that everything will be just fine. After going outside to investigate, we find Prism Tower looking like it's about to explode. Why does this keep happening to me? Everywhere I go, there's always some kind of calamity unfolding. Explain yourself, Mr. Fister. Why did all of these things only start happening after you arrived? I didn't do this. It was probably Volo. Enough with the lies. Your muscles won't talk you out of this. If you won't tell us the truth, we'll have to beat it out of you. Once again, Mr. Fister is blamed for a disaster that he probably didn't cause. Regardless, this sets up our final showdown of the game. As the only other rank A trainer in Lumiose City, Tawny's final team is stacked. Our only other 6-on-6 battle was rough, so I knew that this one wasn't gonna be easy. Regardless, our fighting types had become strong, and I was still confident as we stepped forward to take on Mr. Fista's final opponent in Lumiose City. I lead with Scrafty since it has a really good matchup into Tawny's Meowstic. A Crunch hits it for big damage, before Brick Break also gets rid of Tawny's Reflect. This means that one more Crunch can take it out, giving us the early lead. Then, against Meganium, I switch out into Embor, who quickly burns through the grass type with Flamethrower and Flame Wheel. The Goodra that comes in next is a pretty big threat, so I switch out into Lucario. Our Steel type means that we won't be hit by Toxic, while Lucario's Dragon Pulse also hits pretty hard. Our two Pokemon then continue trading blows, but thankfully, Lucario can just outlast Goodra as an Aura Sphere secures our third KO. Despite our strong start, this is where Tawny starts to fight back, as not only does Manectric overpower our Phalanx with Overheat, it also manages to finish off our Lucario too. As a result, the gap had closed, as now it was down to a 4v3. However, this is where our fighting types take over. With a Crunch, Scrafty can handle the weakened Manectric, and when Avalugg comes in after that, our Embor completely melts it down into a puddle with only a single Flamethrower. This leaves Tawny with only her ace, Mega Feraligatr. Our Embor is completely outmatched here, falling to Feraligatr and leaving us in a 3v1. Although this matchup is exactly why I have Chestnut. With Spiky Shield and Leech Seed, we gradually chip away at the Water Dragon, while Woodhammer also dishes out some respectable damage. Our Chestnut isn't able to solo Feraligatr, but it does get it low, meaning that from here, once Scrafty hits the field and Mega Evolves right away, it only takes a Crunch, followed by one last Dynamic Punch to crush Mega Feraligatr. With that, Tawny had been defeated once and for all, and Mr. Fista had become the strongest trainer in Lumiose City, demonstrating just how powerful the fighting type truly is. Despite being accused of causing this huge disaster, we still have to try and stop the tower from completely exploding. This involves fighting off some rogue Megas, as well as teaming up with Zygarde to take on the rogue tower itself. But this is nothing that Mr. Fista can't handle. Ultimately, once Orange is defeated, Lumiose City had been saved, and we had beaten all of Pokémon Legends ZA using only fighting-type Pokémon. However, Mr. Fista was ultimately arrested and deported from Kalos on suspicion of having caused the incident at Prism Tower. Jump into this video next for more Pokémon content, and let me know in the comments below which new fighting-type Mega is your favorite. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.